So, what's that super popular franchise everyone's talking about right now? I swear I've heard of it before. Like, everybody's talking about it, it's in the news and everything. I have it on the tip of my tongue. Oh yeah, that one. The Pokemon franchise has so many great games and everybody's at least played one, so how am I to talk about one that's underrated? The fanbase couldn't have missed one, right? It looks like it did, as this handheld series had 2 full home console entries with a story, RPG elements, and a whole new twist on the Pokemon you know and love. These 2 GameCube games were called Pokemon Colosseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, respectively. And while the first one might be a tad incomplete, Genius Sonority really hit the ball out of the park with its sequel. This game, while keeping the same gimmick as Colosseum, improved everything about it to create a full Pokemon experience. The Aura region where it's based was the first 3D Pokemon region, and I speculate that Game Freak might have been inspired by this one when developing 3D handheld titles like X and Y. Let's take a look at all it did right. The story of Pokemon XD begins as the Pokemon HQ lab, where you live, catches wind of the return of Cipher, baddies from the first game. These evil scientists have been creating shadow Pokemon, creatures whose hearts have been closed. Professor Crane, head scientist of the lab, decides to finish a purification chamber to heal shadow Pokemon and help them come back to their original form. Your character, Michael, starts with the main goal of snagging shadow Pokemon from Cipher to bring them back to the purified chamber, and that's the beginning of your new Pokemon adventure. Instead of your usual choice of starters like Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle, you start with the level 10 Eevee, and not very far through the game you get a choice of stones to help evolve into Jolteon, Vaporeon, Flareon, Umbreon, or the far superior Espeon. So these evolutions are basically your choice of starters, a cool twist on the classic choice. Throughout the game, you'll chase Cipher in all of the cities of the region to finally take them down with purified Pokemon in Citadark Isle, their lair. This team of bad guys really is an interesting one, since you don't know their leader until late in the game, where a friendly old man you've crossed a couple times through reveals himself as Greevil, the final boss of the game and the one behind the Shadow Pokemon plan. Gale of Darkness is based around catching all of the 83 Shadow Pokemon in the game, including the quote-unquote not purifiable XD001 Shadow Lugia. Every trainer you face may have one, so you have to keep Pokeballs on you at all times. Purifying these heartbroken monsters is easily done by placing them inside sets of the Purified Chamber in the center of 4 other Pokemon. To make them purify the quickest, you'll need to achieve maximum tempo in the set it's put in, which means placing the 4 Pokemon in an order where they are all effective against each other. Moreover, since there is such a limited number of Pokemon you can catch, planning your final team is much more important in Pokemon XD than in any other game before it. You'll want to level up a certain set of Pokemon in particular if you're planning on beating Greevil at the end of the game. But this game has a flaw, you might say, as if you fight a shadow Pokemon and accidentally kill it, make it faint, you won't be able to battle the same trainer again and therefore give catching it another shot, because all Cipher members flee after you defeat them. Well, this is where Myra B comes into play. Myra B appears at first as a bad guy, but is actually just there to help. Every now and then, you'll be notified of his appearance either at the Pyrite Town Coliseum or at the Realgam Tower, 2 places hosting tournaments between trainers. And every time you fight him, he is one of the shadow Pokemon you missed, along with his sexy dancing Lombres and Ludicolo's. Dab, 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 dab. Thanks, Myra B. I wish I could dance like you do. The beautiful 80s dancer also has the final shadow Pokemon you have to catch when you think you've caught them all, even after the end credits. Shadow Dragonite, a level 55 plus great dragon that nobody has the patience to catch, let alone unlock by catching the other 82. In this great GameCube title, instead of gyms, in almost every city you enter, a certain Cipher gang will be present, giving you leveling up battles before fighting a Cipher admin, the parallel to a gym leader. The ONBS station in Pyrite Town is where you first fight Cipher out of their own laboratory. They have taken over the television company, and since it is run by merely kids and teenagers, they have easily taken everyone as hostage. I really enjoy this place because it gives you the impression that you're really saving people instead of just beating up gym leaders for your own self-esteem. After beating Cipher and Pyrite, you have to leave for Phenac City, where you've heard the villains will go to next. But as you're exploring, you find nothing bizarre, and everyone seems normal. When you go talk to the mayor though, he's not there and he's left an unfinished note. And then, plot twist, you learn that everyone you've encountered during your first run around the city are actually Cipher peons in disguise. This story part gets darker and darker as the more trainers you fight, the less people are in the city, until it's almost entirely devastated. The final battle is actually pretty challenging as well, making Phenac a pretty interesting level to the game. Fortunately, when you finally take down the Cipher Inquisition, since Pokemon is rated E for everyone, we learn that all of the former inhabitants were just taken underground by Cipher. Let's agree they could have taken this to a much more tragic place. What makes these levels in the game even more interesting are two small additions you're going to want to look for when playing through them. The first one is PCs at other places than Pokemon centers, which means you can change your team between two battles if you like. The second, however, is the most important. Portable Pokemon centers. You heard me right. Ever wished you didn't need to backtrack to the Pokemon Center after every battle or two? Here you go. A yellow box that heals your Pokemon right in the heat of the action. After finishing the main story, as in every Pokemon game, this one has an aftergame. It's a bit on the shorter side, but it gives you A. A new place to train against former Cipher admins in Ore Coliseum, B. An opportunity to battle against trainers you'd beat a long time ago and who have gotten much better, but also C. A possibility to purify Shadow Lugia, the quote-unquote not purifiable. For that, you must know all Pokemon weaknesses or know how to Google Pokemon type chart, because you have to have max tempo in every single of the 20 sets of the Purification Chamber. Yes, that means a total of 80 purified or caught wild Pokemon. For its clever gimmick, its richness in characters and level design, and its overall originality, I feel like Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness should be remembered as a game revolutionary to its franchise and to three-dimensional RPGs in general. I had a lot of fun playing through it, and I hope that this video will incite some of you to give it a try as well. Thanks so much for watching another PerfectQuest video. I worked super hard on this one, so it would mean the world to me if you gave it a like before you left. If you have games you think I should talk about on here, please mention them in the comments so I don't run out of game ideas. Also, go follow me on Twitter at perfect_quest, so you can make sure you know everything I do every day. P.S. That was false advertising. I don't tweet daily. Also, I think I had one last thing to say. Oh yeah, Team Valor all the way. Alright, I'm done. Bye!